The transmission into S, there's a DS, and then I had to hit the traction control off button once to get ready to initiate launch control. So now I'm ready to go. I got a left foot brake, wide open throttle. It says launch control program activated, and I let go. So here we go. Oh man, this thing freaking took off. Welcome to Drive Culture. I'm Jonathan Rivers, and today we have the 2025 Audi S5. And I'm going to tell you why you want this kind of sports sedan to exist in today's market. So we'll go over the exterior, the interior, the powertrain, and of course, take it for a drive. So if this is content you're after or you're new to the channel, please be sure to click that bell to subscribe, to come back for more. And with that, let's get after it. Now guys, here we are with the second Audi I've had here on the channel. I actually have a review of the latest generation Audi S3 here on Drive Culture as well. So if you haven't watched that review, definitely go back and check that one out. That car was pretty sweet. But now we got the S3's kind of bigger brother here with the Audi S5. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the S5, right? So if you guys aren't familiar with the lineup of Audi products, right, essentially they go A's, on the sedan side of things, Q's on the SUV side of things, and now they got E's for their electric vehicles. But on the sedan side of things here, they got the A's, right? And so normally this is the A5 Sportback, right? But then when they want to dial up the performance, they switch it to an S. So the A5 becomes an S5, and yes, they have another level of performance which goes to RS, right? So they have an RS5, RS7, really high performance products like that. So this is kind of the mid-tier, premium sports sedan for Audi. So it's going to compete with things like, the Mercedes C43 AMG, the Genesis G70, turbo model, the Acura TLX Type S, BMW M340i, the list goes on and on. But that list is inherently getting smaller and smaller because more people are going away from these sports sedans and buying SUVs. So let me know your guys' thoughts and comments down below on that. Are you really into these, high performance sedans? Do you wish they would stick around, or are you just going to a more high performance SUV at this point? But back to the S5. So this technically is like the second generation of this version of S5. So before they had the B9 for you Audi fans out there. That was when 2017 they launched this new kind of literally like lift back design for the A5 lineup of products, right? Because they had the A4, which was a 3-box sedan, typical sedan. But then by introducing the A5, they added this liftback to it, this fastback roof design, and essentially created another product line. And then again, off of that, they built an S5. So back in 2017, the B9 generation debuted. And then now, this is essentially a full redesign, which launched just last year, 2024. And this is the B10 Audi S5. And boy, there's a lot of enhancements and just full fundamental changes compared to that previous generation. So let's talk about this particular car we have here. Base MSRP for an Audi S5 is $62,700, not including paint, D&H, things like that. This particular car here has over $10,000 worth of options, and if you were to, tally it all up, it's actually just under $74,000 in pricing. I'm gonna put that down below because that does include all the option packages, D and H, and that's pretty much out the door, right? So it's a lot of money, but man, it's a lot of cars. So let's talk about it. This particular one is painted in Ascari blue metallic, and it is a fantastic color, right? Has a lot of sheen to it, a lot of like speckle in there. You can really see it popping under the sunlight, and it really helps with all the black accents, which are part of a multitude of option packages added to this particular Audi S5. So next, let's go ahead and do a full exterior walk around of this 2025 Audi S5. All right, guys, here we are with the 2025 Audi S5. We're going to do a full exterior walk around on this car, and I'm just going to jump right in and say I think it looks really good. Like I said, that Ascari blue metallic paint looks really, really nice. But this is also, like I said, a full redesign for the S5. This is now, like I said, that B10 generation, right? So, the previous B9 generation, like I said, was a big turning point, right? Introducing that, lift gate in the back and that kind of fastback design, really helping to differentiate it against the A4 of the time. But, now they've kind of taken this design to the next level. So let's jump right into it. Like I said, this car has lots of option packages on it, which also change some of the exterior aesthetic design. So, in the Audi trim world, there's, premium, premium plus. This particular car has the prestige package. Now, to be fair, most of the items in that package are actually related to the interior. So we'll cover that once we get inside. But this one does have the black optic package, and that includes several design elements that we're going to cover during this exterior walk around. So let's first talk about these headlights. So Audi's always been really good at premium LED headlight design. No different here. This has the full LED headlights. But what's cool is it has what they call this kind of LED digital daytime running light. We're going to show you what that looks like here and how it lights up, but it kind of animates itself upon startup, looks really premium, and just the overall design of the headlight looks really, really nice. We take in and look at the hood here. There's a lot of like really sharp character lines here on both sides of the hood, come down into this curved front fascia. Now, like I said, this car does have the black optic package, and one of the things included, and maybe it stands out right away, is it comes with what they call anthracite rings, right? So the Audi logo is essentially what they call anthracite. So it's not black, it's almost like a dark gray color, but it looks really good in this grille, right? Which is a part of the black optic package. It kind of darkens everything out. You got some functional openings there, some black kind of like piano black treatment that like sticks out, over some of the plastic portions of the grille. You do have 4 parking sensors on the front here, and you have also a lot of adaptive cruise control and radar technology here on the lower front fascia. So you can see those kind of big square opening in the middle and then off to the left. But you can also see there's some functional openings there in the hexagons of the grille, and then even off to the side. Look, you can literally see through the air curtains on both sides of the front fascia. So that's really nice to see functional design here in the front fascia. But one thing that I actually want to talk about now, I'm going to zoom in, is the S logo, right? So if you guys maybe, like I said, watch that Audi S3 video I had, and if you're familiar with the Audi brand, you know that they used to have these all over the car, like on the front fenders, in the rear, here in the front grille. Well, there was a moment there where they pretty much went with a clean design and got rid of these Audi S badges, but here they're bringing it back, and it's actually kind of a new font for this B10 Audi S5. So we're going to point out where the rest of those badges are here in a sec, but let's go ahead and kind of do a full side profile on this thing. So it looks really good, guys. Again, like I said, it still retains that overall, fastback design of the previous generation, still has the liftback functionality. We'll talk about that during the cargo section. But next, let's go ahead and take a look at the wheels and tires. So typically when you buy a new S5, they're actually going to come with 19-inch wheels and tires, but this has, some optional wheels. So these are 20-inch wheels, and here they're 245 35 R20s, and they're wrapped in Goodyear summer tires as well. So a big upgrade in performance over the standard wheel and tire package. And in fact, looking really closely here, it's kind of upside down given the wheel. It actually says RS. On the wheel, so hinting that it's even a higher level of performance. And then if you kind of really look behind, you can see the high performance brake caliper there. Got some pretty big beefy rotors back there as well. The Audi logo looks nice. Now again, as part of this black optic package, you got basically these black side mirrors here. They're power folding. They have LED turn signals. You also get the black kind of trim around the windows. And then here on the B pillars, this is one thing I was talking about. So if you look really closely, it actually says Audi on the front door. And then here on the rear door, it says S5. and then TFSI Quattro for the powertrain. But you know, honestly, before that, front badge was added back on, and what the badge is on the rear, this used to be the only way you would know now that it was a high performance S line model. So again, they went really clean, but then they started adding back in the badges, I think, to appease to the kind of the more traditional design and look that customers wanted. You also get these black treatment to the door handles, and they're really cool how they kind of just like pop open here. So for the front and rear, you get this nice little black side blade that goes along the length of the vehicle. You have a square setup for the wheels and tires, so you still got those big 20s in the back. Still get a high performance braking package, summer tires, red calipers, looks really premium. So we'll start to make our way to the rear of the car, and I think this looks really good, the view. So again, as part of that black optic package, you get that nice spoiler on the back in black. You get the anthracite Audi logo in the rear as well. You get the S5 badge. Again, this is that new font, new badge off to the left. We'll zoom in a sec. But then you also get with this upgrade here, this premium LED OLED LED tail light design. And man, again, I'll show you what that looks like in B-roll, but it looks really premium, especially when it's lit up at night. You got the 360 surround view camera as part of an option package, so you can see the camera in the back above the license plate. And then if I kind of just zoom in, you do get 4 more parking sensors down low, and then that awesome quad exhaust, which is actually a dark chrome finish, is part of that black optic package. And that's really wrapped around a nicely integrated, pretty aggressive rear diffuser design. So again, if I just zoom in, there's that new badge, new font. Let me know what you guys think. There's this anthracite logo right as part of that black optic package. So again, I think for the rear, it definitely stands out. Looks really different than the A4 or the even just the standard A5. So with that, guys, I think we've covered everything on the exterior of this new S5. So next, let's go ahead and hop inside to talk about the interior. All right, guys, here we are inside this new Audi S5. And man, is it a really nice place to be, man. There is a ton of premium features, materials, and technologies in this new Audi S5. So there's going to be a lot to talk about here, but I'm going to do my best to get through pretty quickly. So, like I said, first and foremost, Audi's always been known for having really premium high-end interiors. And here in this S5, there is uh, it's an understatement to say that it's a truly luxury experience. I mean, pretty much every touch point in the vehicle is either like leather wrapped with contrast stitching, Alcantara, or just a really, like almost like a carbon like look and feel to the a lot of the pieces here on the door, the center console. Everything is truly a high quality, high craftsmanship piece. But let's just talk about the basics. Let's talk about the steering wheel here. So it's a great diameter. It's really small actually, and it's kind of a square steering wheel where the top and the bottom are both flat. There's perforations on the sides, contrast stitching, a really kind of futuristic look to the controls. You do have like haptic controls, for like things like your all your audio and the interface that we'll talk about with the screens. You do have pretty big paddle shifters back here, minus on the left, plus on the right. We'll talk about that during the drive. A stalk off to the left, down low for your cruise control functions, and your basic wiper and blinker controls behind the steering wheel. But detailing wise, it's really nice. So again, you have the Audi logo here, and it's not your typical chrome logo. It's kind of a design logo that sits really nicely on the airbag cover. And then for the bottom spoke here, it's a nice silver and gloss black, and it just has that new Audi S logo kind of, painted on top of that. So that looks really nice. A really nice steering wheel. But again, as far as the other touch points, the doors, leather material, contrast stitching, carbon fiber accents, some kind of 3D design here on the door. All of the controls for your mirrors are like super premium. They're like backlit, just a nice kind of like, flat surface to all the touch points. But, really you have a very nice interface here that just goes above and beyond your normal window controls and things like that. We'll talk about the audio system here in a sec, but you can't ignore the detailing to the speakers and the grille design here on this Audi S5. Before I get to the dash, let's talk about these seats because typically on an Audi S4, S5 level product, they always have these nice seats, and there's no difference here. They're a fixed headrest design, very premium leather, contrast stitching, this kind of diamond quilted stitching that goes all the way down. You have the additional leg support here that pulls out, multi-way power for both the driver and passenger, heated, ventilated, you name it. I mean, these seats do just about everything. So really nice that you have this kind of super premium sport seat design here in the S5. Now, if we look at the dash, there's a lot of screens and things going on here. We'll talk about that as part of the technology here in a sec. But as we make our way to the center console, it's a pretty wide design, but everything is very exposed and easy to access. So up front here, you do have two USB-C charge ports, a 12-volt socket, and a flat wireless charge pad here, which is rubberized and angled to keep your phone from flying around while you're driving. Coming a little bit further back, this is all like this nice, like kind of premium piano black trim. You got a red engine start stop button, really nice. Hazard light controls. Your volume and power knob is right here off to the right. Two decent sized cup holders. And then this is like your transmission controls, right? So we'll talk a little bit more how that works during the drive. So that's all kind of surrounded by this nice kind of almost like carbon like textured trim on both sides of the center console, which is really nice. And then you have a pretty big center console area. It's not very deep, but it's definitely big and can easily fit all your things. And there's even a little tray here for the key fob. It's like actually meant for that. And what's nice is this is kind of adjustable here by you pulling the handle. You can actually set the position of this armrest, right? So you can have it completely all the way down or have it in a floating position, which is really premium and nice. But let's talk about this roof that's above you here. So it's not an opening roof. It's basically a fixed piece of glass, but it's really big. And, even if you're sitting in the rear, which I'll do here in a sec, you'd have basically this panoramic view up above. But what's cool is it has that transparency function, guys. So you can basically, keep it, clear where you can see through, or you can push a button and it kind of gets really dark and turns opaque to like minimize the amount of sun that's coming in overhead. So that is a really premium and nice feature here on the S5. But here we go, let's jump into all the technology. Like I said, this has the prestige package, right, which comes with all kinds of whiz bang tech. First, let's talk about what you got right in front of you. Now, it looks like one big piece, but essentially you got two screens that are housed into this kind of shape here on the dash. On the right in front of you, you do have an 11.9-inch digital instrument cluster, and it looks fantastic. It is super premium in its look and feel, the text, the fonts, the graphics, everything looks like OLED, super high resolution. Off to the side here, though, you have a massive 14.5-inch full color touchscreen display. Now, with that, you do have kind of all your climate controls and other functions built into this touchscreen display. So you don't really have an abundance of buttons or controls down below. So you are going to have to, use the touchscreen to manage some of that. So let me know your guys' thoughts and comments down below. Do you like physical knobs and buttons? Are you okay with having it embedded in a touchscreen? But it is big. It does come with, of course, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. So all that's built in. It even has Audi's kind of like, entry into personal assistant and AI, right? So you can do the whole Hey Audi and function, right, to command a multitude of features and things in this new S5. Now, you think that's a lot of screens, right? We got one more, which is optional, and that's this one over here on the passenger side. This is a 10.9-inch screen dedicated pretty much just for the passenger, right? It still gives them a lot of controls and functionality. It's again that same kind of ultra high resolution kind of OLED like display over here for the passenger to control a multitude of functions and technologies in the vehicle. Now, lastly, before we jump into the rear here, you guys know me and you know me, I'm an audiophile. I love music. So finally, I get to talk about this super premium Bang & Olufsen audio system in this S5. There is 20 speakers in here, guys, which is a lot for a vehicle of this class and size. Now, not only do you have 20 speakers in total, 4 of them are actually in the driver and passenger headrest. That's right, there's actually headrest speakers here to help with that 3D audio function of this Bang & Olufsen audio system. And like I said, not only does it look premium, but it sounds truly incredible. So that's a really premium audio system there. So I think we've covered everything here up in the front row. So next, let's go ahead and hop in the rear. All right, guys, here we are in the rear of this Audi S5. And just like the front row, even here in the rear, it is a super premium place to be. Like I said, that glass roof extends back to the second row. As far as overall space, I always say in my videos, I'm 5'10". I do have good space back here. To be fair, I do have the driver's seat a little bit further back than what I would actually be driving in. Passenger seat's about right. That could slide up a little bit more to give the rear passengers room. But to be fair, again, this is, more about this kind of, for adult passenger level vehicle. Because you can see here in the center, there's a hump here, which kind of really prevents someone, like an adult, to be sitting here in the middle seat. But these are really premium seats. Like I said, the fixed headrest. There's like a plastic portion down low that has cutouts for your knees. So for me, I got decent knee room. I can actually slide my feet up under the front seat. There's these netted pockets on the back of the seat. So overall, like I said, there's actually pretty good space. I have lots of headroom, which is kind of surprising given that the roof line is very sporty and kind of tapers off in the rear. But good space there. All the same super premium materials that are up on the front doors carry over to the rear. You get that same awesome Bang & Olufsen speaker grill, which maybe I didn't really call this out, but just like up front, it's kind of integrated into the door handle. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, where the branding and that aluminum trim kind of comes and meets the door handle. So that's like a really interesting blend of design and audio performance. You get the Alcantara material, some of this 3D design treatment here. You also get manual sunshades in the rear, so that's a nice touch point. And still the same premium seating surfaces. Now, they're obviously, not a fixed headrest in the back, but you still get diamond quilted seats, all the contrast stitching. You get a pretty nice armrest if you pull this down. Cup holders here, very nice shape to it, so that's pretty nice. But let's talk about here in the center console area. So you get 2 USB-C charge ports. So you got 2 up front, the wireless charge pad, 2 in the rear. So you've basically got charging for everyone in the vehicle. You also have access to the vents back here. It can control the direction, but not full tri-zone climate. And you wouldn't expect that at this segment and this type of vehicle. But you do get rear heated seats back here, and they're controlled back here with these buttons. So a really premium place to be, good usability and space. But next, let's go ahead and hop out and check out the cargo area. All right, guys, next, let's go ahead and check out the cargo space of this Audi S5. So like I said before, at first glance, you might think it's a typical trunk opening, but no, that's why you have both an A4, A5, S4, S5 variant. The fives are a fastback design with a full opening tailgate. So that means this trunk, glass, everything lifts up as one piece. And of course, there's a button inside on the key fob, or you can just pull this handle. So it is power, which is nice. So right, you see it goes all the way up. There's actually a cargo cover integrated as well, which can be removed, but there's actually a lot of space back here, guys, and everything is just kind of very straight, no angles, no humps, very flat floor. You can see that for the rear seats, a lot of times manufacturers will do like a 60-40. Essentially here is a 3-way split between the seats. So a lot of flexibility on how you fold those down. But with the seats up and the space that you see here, there's actually 21.8 cubic feet of space, which I'm telling you guys, that is a lot of space. That's almost as much as like some of the smaller compact crossovers that are in the market today. So just because you get a big sporty sedan doesn't mean you don't have a lot of usability and space back here. Now, off to the left on this side, you actually have the tire inflator kit that comes with a lot of vehicles these days. And then there is this space here where you can actually open this up. So if you kind of lift this up, doesn't really reveal extra storage space per se, but what you'll find back here is the rest of your tire inflator kit. You'll also see the subwoofer for that premium Bang & Olufsen audio system, and you'll even see some wires there because yes, this vehicle does have a mild hybrid system, which we'll get to here in a second during the powertrain. So again, like I said, good space back here. It's nice that you have a power tailgate functionality as well. So next, let's go ahead and talk about that powertrain. All right, next, let's go ahead and talk about the powertrain of this new Audi S5. So, guys, here we are with an uprated version of the engine that used to be in the B9 and now in this B10 generation for the Audi S5. And so I've actually driven the previous gen S5, and it was definitely no slouch, but they've bumped up the power in this new engine. And again, as soon as you open the hood here, you see they have this awesome engine cover design, that kind of red Audi symbol there, the anthracite Audi rings to it. So it's a really nice engine cover and a very clean engine bay design. But let's talk about this 3-liter V6 TFSI engine, right? So guys, in this configuration here, this single turbo, twin scroll single turbo engine is producing 362 horsepower and 401 pound-feet of torque. Now, it's made it exclusively to a 7-speed S-tronic transmission. Audi speak for dual clutch transmission, and comes exclusively with their quattro all-wheel drive system. And in this one, even takes it a step further with the sport differential system added to it as well. So a really high performance system, but there's no better way than to prove that out than to get behind the wheel. So next, let's go ahead and take this thing for a drive. All right, guys, here we are inside the Audi S5, and we're gonna go ahead and take this thing for a drive. So go ahead, put my seatbelt on here, foot on the brake, hit the red engine start stop button. All right, sounds good. You know, boots right up, screens galore, a lot of stuff going on there, but looks really good. So, you know, it does take a minute to, you know, learn some of the functionality of everything, but once you get it, it's not bad. It's actually pretty easy to use, and the touch screen here, it's actually really fast and responsive. So really no complaints. Again, like I said, let me know your guys' thoughts and comments down below if you want all the physical knobs and buttons. But for me, generally, this thing is pretty good to go. So as always, we'll talk about the drive modes and such. So what I'm gonna do is pull it back into D, automatically remove the electronic parking brake, and I'm gonna go ahead and set off here, guys. So here we go. Electronic pre-tensioner on the seatbelt kind of squeezed me into place, but yeah, I can already tell, man, this car, it's gonna get up. You can just tell from the torque, right? It's got that low end torque, 401 foot-pounds of torque, really down low. That's what's nice about having that small downsized twin scroll single turbo, right? It lets it spool up really quickly and hit all that power down below. So, you know, and just kind of like how Audi tunes their cars, right? There's this kind of like delay in the initial, you know, push into the throttle, and then all of a sudden it just hits you really hard. So I noticed that even when I did the Audi S3 review that I did. So like I said, if you haven't watched that one, go back and watch the Audi S3. Like I said, that car is no slouch. It's actually really fast as well, but it's kind of like, you know, size wise and position wise, it's kind of like the little brother to this guy here, the Audi S5. And even still, there's a bigger brother than this. There's an S7, right? It's a much bigger, larger vehicle, right? So it's kind of that, you know, small, medium, large option in the Audi lineup. But the other thing that I can tell you is, like I said, the craftsmanship on the interior, the materials, the NVH, you know, this car's really, really quiet, really, really premium. I mean, just even setting off 100 feet in, I can already feel that. So one of the things I'll talk about here is the drive modes, right? So there's a drive select button. If I push that in, there's an individual mode where you can piecemeal a lot of things. Now this particular car does have the adaptive suspension, so that's going to change, you know, how soft or how hard it is, you know, how you adjust that. But it's nice because that becomes an option within that individual drive mode setting. From there, you can push in. There's dynamic mode. Definitely gonna try that out. There's also comfort mode as well. So maybe we'll actually start the drive in comfort just to kind of see, you know, what every day-to-day driving is like. And then halfway through, I'll put it into sport driving mode as well. And then just for fun, this car actually has a launch control function as well. So I'm gonna stop off at some point and show you like what that feels like, and I'm excited for that. So I'm gonna take off here, just driving in comfort mode right now. So yeah, I started off probably in the individual mode, but I went into comfort, and I can just tell you, man, this thing is great. It just feels like, you know, tooling around town would be no problem. You know, engine's virtually silent, right? And again, it does have that kind of mild hybrid technology, which is going to help for low speed cruising and just, you know, kind of the start-stop function. But yeah, it's really, really quiet. I mean, just a little bit of road noise from the wheels and tires. Again, these are the big 20-inch wheels that are on this car. Normally, again, it comes with the 19-inch wheels and tires, but no, for the most part, these are really, really good. So I'm just going to get into it. And I mean, even on comfort, man, I just put a little bit of throttle, and this thing leapt forward. So I can't wait to see what the dynamic mode is going to do, let alone what launch control is going to do here. But I'm going to go over my normal, you know, course here. Got these, you know, big train tracks. This will really show how the chassis and the suspension set up. So I'm in comfort mode, going over the first one, 36 miles an hour, and yeah, that was really good. Outside of noise, you know, just from the suspension and the tires moving, there was virtually no inputs into the chassis, no, you know, shaking at all. It felt really, really good. So there's another one here that's a little bit more aggressive, and we're going to go 40 miles an hour, maybe come down a little bit, but here we go. This one's a little bit worse. No, that was really good. And if you guys have watched Drive Culture enough, you know I go over that, and I've been over that in, you know, supercars, I've been in sports cars, tuner cars, and sometimes with really stiff suspensions, you know, that will almost lift you out of your seat. So that was actually really good. But next, I'm going to kind of pull over here for a sec because I want to actually go through the drive modes and get the launch control situated. So give me a second here as I figure this out. All right, so I got it figured out. I had to switch into dynamic mode, which put the transmission into S. There's a DS. And then I had to hit the traction control off button once to get ready to initiate launch control. So now I'm ready to go. I got a left foot brake, wide open throttle. It says launch control program activated, and I let go. So here we go. Oh man, this thing freaking took off, and there's already speeds I shouldn't be at. So that is what is awesome about this car. It just actually leapt off the ground. I mean, it felt good, and it sounds good too. It's not overly loud. I'd be curious to see, you know, what it sounds like on the outside, but man, inside it sounds really good. I mean, seriously, it just took off. I mean, after letting off the brake and the launch control function kicked in, I mean, this thing actually just shot forward. This car is really fast. So we're about to come up to another area here where I can just kind of do a little bit more of the wide open throttle, but I'm also going to kind of play with the paddle shifters here. So I'm in the S transmission setting, and right now I'm in fourth gear, kind of tooling around. But if I pull the paddles, all of a sudden it gives me what this says M, the gear number, and then S. So now it's essentially in like a manual gear shifting situation. So I'm actually going to start from one, turn, and then I'll give it a nice you know, wide open throttle so you can you know, hear what it sounds like and get a sense for speed in this car, right? So make sure traffic's good. All right, here we go. I'm gonna get it straight, and then just wide open throttle, and it's shifting gears for me, but this thing is fast, guys. I mean, it's crazy. It's actually very muted in the cabin. I mean, you get a really good sound for what that engine sounds like. You can actually hear some of the poof, you know, the backfire from the exhaust. But I think the NVH and just how quiet it is inside, it really mutes that experience. So not dinging it, not saying it's a bad thing, but like I said, it's probably a lot louder on the outside, and that exhaust, that backfire as it's ramping through the gears, it's got to sound really good. But I mean, it still sounds good. It's just more muted than I'd expect, right? But man, like I said, this thing is definitely not slow. I'm gonna go back here. I'm actually gonna start back in first, and then get ready, and then here we go. Just another. And then also, man, I can tell you this Quattro all-wheel drive system is not only fantastic, but that sport diff, it's not gimmicky at all. You can definitely feel the torque distribution through the rear wheels. It kind of helps to really rotate the car around. So man, like I said, guys, this thing is really, really good. Kind of stuck at a light here, so I'm gonna come back in a second and I'll give my final impressions. All right, guys, here we are setting off, and lastly, I'm just gonna check out the brakes here. So get in, and this just rips out, and so almost 60 miles an hour. So into the brakes, and oh man, brakes really good, really good. I didn't go 10 tenths into the brakes. I just got maybe like 6 tenths, like not all the way down, and it brought this thing to a stop really quickly and smoothly. Very confident braking. So man, I wish I had more time with this car, but this is a really performance sedan that fits well into the marketplace, even though sedans aren't as popular as they used to be. So let me know your guys' thoughts and comments down below. Let me know if you want to see more Audis, more high performance Audis here on the channel. Be happy to bring you that content. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this drive review. All right, guys, that's a wrap. What did you think of this 2025 Audi S5? Is this the best sports sedan on the market today? Let me know your guys' thoughts and comments down below. Let me know if you want to see other high-performance sedans on the channel. Of course, I'd be happy to bring you that content, although it's going to be much harder to do so as these types of sedans are just kind of disappearing, guys. So let me know your guys' thoughts and comments down below related to that as well. So if you've joined me before, thank you so much. But if you're new to the channel, please be sure to click that bell to subscribe to come back for more. Thanks, and we'll see you at the next episode.